Let's do this. New series. You know, I've done these rants for a while, right? That's why a lot of you tune in. Because I am complete. I am cohesive. I am coherent. I am not always any of those three things, actually. But I have some good topical conversations. And I think everybody loves a good rant or ramble when it comes to that. And so, I bring to you my proposed title for this series, The Anti-Hype, right? I talk about it in the monthly lookbacks in terms of when we look back on crowdfunding games, where are they now? How do you feel about things now? I will be having a video coming out very soon looking at, okay, post Essen, where were those games from Essen that had all the hype from 2021, right? Where are those? Huh? You hear about those anymore? You don't? Oh, wow, interesting thought right there. But this one, something a little bit different. Hey, let's do this. New series title on the channel. This is going to be something I'm going to do across the board. I'm going to do it for crowdfunding. I'm going to do it for topicals. I'm going to do it for everything in between, because you know me. You like a good rant. You guys watch me rant. You guys watch me rave. You guys watch me ramble. And I enjoy doing them. I'm going to call it the anti-hype, because that's what we need sometimes in this hobby, is in hobby in general, or, you know, life in general. Get off the hype train for a second. Where are things actually at? Take a step off, watch it go by you, and if you still want to catch up with it, you can. But if you don't, well, then see you later. Sayonara in the distance. So, let me know what you think about the title. But not only am I going to do it for a little bit of everything, today's one is a little bit special because this one has been brewing in the back of my mind for a while, right? Like crowdfunding, right? We do a lot of crowdfunding. We talk a lot of crowdfunding. We browse a lot of crowdfunding. We always worry about the value. But the thing that has been thrown around lately of the past year has been the, not from the price of the games necessarily, that's a whole nother video, but the shipping. Now, I'm going to go a different direction here. You're going to think that I'm going to zig and I'm going to zag here, actually, because why I'm going to be ranting on the anti-hype video in this one, if the title wasn't clear enough, I don't think any game on crowdfunding should have two-wave shipping. I think two-wave shipping is an absolute crock. Strong enough opinion for you? Looking for a strong opinion? Well, there you go. Why am I saying that, though? Because as someone who, you know, has felt rather ambivalent about it in the past, I really felt like lately it needs to be brought up because several things are happening. One, we all know crowdfunding is basically a way for publishers, whether they're big or small, to get a interest-free loan. And so no one disputes that, right? Like, I'm giving you money and you're going to give me a product in 2 years, right? There's no interest. I hope you do well. I hope it succeeds, because otherwise, well, we know about things that don't. Onimaru. Anyway, why is it, though, that why is it that we have seen the trend of these projects not only necessarily scope, but now we're even getting away from reining it in a little bit, and we're just allowing companies to go, you know what? I not only have a base game, I not only have an expansion, I have 4 expansions. And you know what? I was really hoping you could fund all of those at the same time. And in a year or a year and a half, I'm going to give you part of that. And then in another year, year and a half, after I've actually done the development, because I haven't actually done any of the development for the expansions or the add-ons or the stretch goals that I'm throwing in there anyway right now, I'm going to give you the rest of it. And you know what? If you want to be riding the hype train, you know what? You can pay me twice for shipping. But, you know, if you don't, well, you can scoot to the back of the line and pay once for shipping. And as someone who is notoriously frugal, I have almost every single time gone for one-wave shipping. And I mean that in the sense that I am getting everything at once. This two-wave shipping thing really just tells me that you don't want to have to try crowdfunding again in case the base game doesn't do well. My biggest concern, the biggest takeaway as a cynic in this situation, is that it says to me, in some senses, now not every case, obviously, but way too many, that you're coming to crowdfunding with way too raw of a project, with way too much lack of development, and way too grand scope of things. And you know what? The other cynic in me says, you know what? You're trying to make me FOMO. You're trying to make me buy into it, because if the base game, if the core of what you're providing me isn't good enough, there's no way that I'm going to spend the same amount, as much of money the second time around to get burned as I did the first time. Now you're going to say, you know what, Chris, you never have to get this. You can always go around the second time. You can always go. That's missing the point. That's a straw man argument. I agree with that as a wholehearted argument in a whole different video. But what we're talking about is, you know, if you have that much faith in your product, if you're saying, Chris, you're wrong, don't be a cynic. If you have that much faith in your product, deliver it all at once. Why not deliver it all at once, right? Come to us with a more finished product. And again, some people are going to say, well, you can't. Well, no, you can now. We're seeing it. The majority of the companies that are doing two-wave shipping, I dare say all of them, because someone's going to point out one in the comment section that proves me wrong, they're not the mom and pop publishers, folks. They're the ones that are bigger. I'm not going to say large, you know, because then again, I'm going to have people in the comment section chirping at me saying, well, they're not large comparatively. They don't. You know what I'm saying. And so for that reason, I don't want to see 4 expansions that are going to be delivered to me later. I'm going to talk Etherfields right here for a second because it is a prime example of this. If everyone had seen how Etherfields was and they had done another crowdfunding campaign for Etherfields later, you know, people are going to say, okay. And then people are going to say, well, Chris, if they had to, manufacture these separately and distribute them separately and package and freight them separately, well, yeah, they would. But you know what? I'm on the consumer side of things too, right? I can't always worry about the publishers. And if it's that big a risk, maybe, again, you should have it more developed and more fleshed out so that your product is better and you don't have to worry about expansions flopping. Like, I have to look out for the consumer side of things occasionally too. And from a consumer side of things, wouldn't you rather know that, okay, this first crowdfunding campaign happened, I played the base game, now they're launching a second one, I didn't like the base game, I'm not going to get the expansions, instead of saying, okay, well, I got to decide right now, and, you know, again, do I like it? And, you know, you see this now happening with ISS Vanguard, right? You've got a lot of people shouting it, hyping it, and they reopen the pledge manager in between. So you can get some of those extras. So you can do that, but again, you're doing two-wave shipping if you're one of those people. So two-wave shipping just should not be a thing. It should not be a thing. I don't like it. I don't think it's necessary. It just tells me that you are coming way too soon with a product and you are getting not only my generous offering of a pledge interest-free, you are also taking it longer than my goodwill necessarily feels comfortable with as well. And that's probably what it comes down to. And I'm a little bit biased, I guess. And you know what? How many of you have had great success on two-wave shipping? How many of you have had great success with these one-wave shippings of games that are that big and you've loved every single thing, right? I guarantee you can think of at least 1 or 2, if you're like me, that have been like, oh geez, by the time I got this, either one, I didn't like the base game and then I have more stuff coming that I didn't want and then I'm trying to sell one. Do I keep it? Do I sell both of it all together? Or you buy one, you completely forget about it and you go, I don't really need any more of this stuff. And again, you can sell it, but that's money put there that you cannot do anything with, that is tied up for way too long. Rant over. Boom, there you go. The anti-hype. What do you think? I don't see anyone else talking about this issue. I see people talking about shipping all the time. Shipping costing this, costing this, costing this. I understand that. But this is something different as well. So there you go. Anti-hype video number 1. More coming soon. Stay classy. See you around.